We're going to go ahead and redo this video. This is how you unlock TT. What you have to do is you have to beat his time in every single course in the game. This is why I waited until after Future Funland. There's not really a whole lot of a reason to do this beforehand, since you still have to have all those stages unlocked. When I first actually sat down and tried to beat the game when I was 14, obviously I played this when I was a kid, but kind of rage quit at the dragon. I started rage quitting at WizPig. Rather than giving up, I actually just stopped, went and unlocked TT, and then came back. And I used to think I was so freaking cool and that it was such a cool challenge or such an interesting, or such a hard challenge. And now that I'm playing this at 28 years old, I'm just laughing at child me and teenage me because this is not difficult in the slightest. This right here is a first try victory, and I've been talking over it the whole time because it doesn't really matter. I missed dash pads and I still cleared by a margin. TT is actually a lot more forgiving than even the dev times, and even the dev times aren't that hard. There's also a glitch you can abuse if you have a turbo controller, where if you rapidly press the A button, it's actually faster than just holding down the gas. And I do utilize that a little bit here. You can see that I took the shortcut, but TT didn't. But he manages to keep up just because I got caught in the sand. And Fossil Canyon here was actually more of a challenge than some of the other ones. All the clips you'll be seeing are the victory runs, but they may not be first try victories. This one, for example, took me quite a few runs. In fact, I think this was the hardest one until you get to Greenwood Village. And the trick with this is just hitting the drift the second you hit the ground so you can just drift up the hill. As goofy as it is, you go faster driving sideways than straight forward. Also, always go underneath the tree. I believe I pointed that out in the episode that was an error. And then the other thing you got to be careful about is spinning out right there. More if you're trying to do the dev time achievements on Retro Arch or something, but in this it does help keep you ahead of TT. Again, we are still... we don't have that much of a margin over him, but it's okay. We did get stuck, but we still win. So, once again, just goes to show how forgiving TT is. This next one was pretty hard as well, but not quite as bad. By this point, I'm getting used to the car controls again. And it's also important to note that doing the hovercraft and plane levels is much easier. I actually did those levels first whenever I did this to unlock it on Retro Arch for the achievements. I just did the plane hovercraft levels first. Cannot speak today. But yeah, this stage is entirely just about hitting dash pads and making sure you're lined up right. You can see we're running 4 bananas. You can run a bit more if you're trying to do dev time, but it's largely unnecessary. Although TT is getting pretty close on us. I don't know if I'll bother doing a video for the dev times, because that really was just a game of get good and just keep learning the track and cutting corners. And then for Hot Top Volcano, this is a first try victory. This one was one of the easiest ones. I just fly here because this is the closest to a straight line, hold the left. And then you get a lot of distance here by cutting the corner. You can also grab bananas there and get you even more acceleration. And then I ignore the banana road here and just go straight to the boosts. And as you can see, the plane levels are pretty broken because of how much of a marginal lead I already have on TT. I think during the actual game they used rubber banding AI, but because TT works like a ghost, he has a fixed path he's going to go through. So all you have to do is beat that time. If future me doesn't feel lazy, I'm going to be putting the timestamps for what times you need to beat in the corners of this video, which I did not do the first time I did this. Alright, now we're moving on to the water levels, Whale Bay. That going through the dash pad can be a bit of a mistake, I noticed when I was trying to do the dev times. But as we'll see during this level especially, TT is much more forgiving. What you actually want to do is, for the hovercraft, every time you do a turn, you just keep spamming that bounce button as you keep turning. Because you're always going forward with the hovercraft, it's just you need to make sure you face the correct way. And sometimes you need to disconnect with the water to maintain your speed while you go forward, so bouncing helps do that. The hovercraft works very different than the car, but once you figure it out, it's easy mode. Especially because this game assumes most people aren't going to be able to figure it out, which is why TT lags so much further behind on some of these. I believe it's right here, so TT does not cut the corner. He goes around the boat, and that's one of the situations of the game forgiving me, and trying to be more accessible. But yeah, Whale Bay was the first try victory. This one actually was the only hovercraft level that took me a couple tries, and it took me a lot of tries to do the dev one whenever I did it. Because there are so many sharp turns. That U-turn down there, the double U-turn down there is pretty nasty. And we also don't have blue balloons to ricochet around like we do normally. For this, you want to spam the R button as you turn. And then you can take this shortcut if you want to risk a biscuit. But you can also, if you're fast enough, just hit the R button at the end of it and just lightly jump over the shortcut. At the time of recording this footage, I did not know that, so. But again, even missing that dash, we're still ahead of TT, because again, he's very forgiving. I cannot stress this enough. And you'll see that last turn there before I went through the dash pad is an example of like why you can't just do a hard turn with the hovercraft and why you need to jump as you go, because you lose all your momentum as you try to turn. And then Crecent Island was the hardest one for this entire stage. I still think I almost got it on the first try, and there was a part where I burned out and missed a turn. But other than that, it was pretty quick to clear. This is a deceptive U-turn. They give you the signs there to let you know it is a U-turn, but it never looks like it when you're going through it. Do not bother going through that shortcut, even if you're trying to do dev times, it's unnecessary. You can just go straight through like normal. You're more likely to get stuck trying to do that than actually get through it properly. If you cut the corner well enough, you won't need it. And then we got some more bananas that I missed last time. Drift here, U-turn. So you want to drift and then press B. That's another technique for getting around U-turns. And you need to have that mastered by the time you reach Star City anyway. Yeah, see how tight I cut that corner? That's what you want to do, especially in some of the later stages. I missed a dash there, but we have quite a lead on TT right now. Starting to lose it from hitting walls, but if we're watching it, I won, so. That was a looser turn, but still pretty good. Alright, and last up we have Treasure Cave. This one was actually a first try victory, one of the few first try victories with the car. It's not really a whole lot to be said about it. When you're in this room, you can kind of straight shot if you aim for those banana line. And then from the banana line, you can straight shot to the other zipper. So if you have that memorized, you have the shortest path for this memorized. It's pretty easy. TT does get ahead because this is a car level, and car levels are always kind of a pain for TT racing, and because I keep dipping in the water. And you can miss the dashes. That's the other thing I keep forgetting with the stage. There's just enough of a gap between the wall and the dash pad that you can miss it by hitting the wall, so you gotta be really precise on this one. Alright, now we're on to Everfrost Peak, and as you can tell, my audio actually works in this session. So I missed that dash pad, but then I go through this zipper. And you want to hold between the wall and the tree to get the bananas, and then keep holding down here. This is another first try victory, by the way. Once again, its plane levels are stupid easy. They're actually the easiest ones in the game. Now you can dive to try to get this, but it doesn't always work. And then go for this dash pad. Now if you angle it right, you can hit this one, and then immediately get into the other one. I kind of messed it up, but because I got one zipper, I'm still ahead. Then I once again dive here, and I actually do get it with a green flame this time. And we still have such a marginal lead on TT. Come to think of it, I think the only plane levels that I didn't get a first try victory on are in Future Funland. And even then, it was just like a second try for Spaceport Alpha, and I think it took me a few to get the Spacedust Alley. But that's because I was not taking a shortcut I should have. And so now I'm just kind of holding the line. We're so far ahead of him, I don't want to waste time going into dashers.
Now try another track.
Walrus Cove, we're back into hard levels. This one wasn't quite as bad as Snowball Valley or Frosty Village, but it was pretty rough. And the main reason for that is the shortcut at the end. If you don't do it right, you'll end up in the water. You want to hit both of those and then drift at the end. You're almost driving straight, not truly. And then drift here, which I'm not doing. And then when you go down this, you want to take the left one. But then you need to like turn right and then start drifting. It takes a little bit to figure that out. That is the only way I'm keeping ahead of TT. He's still in my back pocket right now. If I took the normal path, he'd be overtaking me, which is what we don't want. So I miss one dash, get a banana. Largely unintentional. Did not mean to miss that dash either. And then here I start dashing or drifting correctly. So I'm able to get a little bit more distance. I hit the water, which is going to eat up a lot of my speed, but I don't do it on the dash pad, which is the most important part. So now it's just all about holding first place while I can. And once again, you saw a couple errors with my turns there. I got both of these dashes. Drifted, drove straight through all this. Hit the wall, but got the dash pad to get my speed back. Drifting here, not enough, but I am drifting. And lastly, we're going to go through here and hopefully we hit it correctly. Wow, I mess up and get it completely off, but we managed to get enough of a lead that it didn't matter. Snowball Valley was probably the hardest. For starters, we don't have the blue balloons we usually use to rocket through a lot of this. We have to do the brake check in that section. We don't get blue balloons in this one. There's only so many dash pads, so you really got to get your bananas on this one. That said, you still want to go through this tunnel if you can. It is still faster. And you want to cut this turn as close as you can that you get the dash. Now drift a little bit there, drift a lot here. Should have hit the dash pad, but it didn't. It is what it is. On this one, I actually ended up having such a marginal lead in the last one, which is why I think I ended up winning it. Even missed the dash pad there and still have such a major lead. Now, Frosty Village, you gotta hit like every single dash pad whenever you do this, which is part of the reason why it was so hard. That, and you also don't want to dive down. You want to take that boost and just go straight forward. If you are turning while you hit that boost, you're screwed and you gotta start it over. There's so many things in this track that just screw you over. Don't let up on the gas on this one. Just hold down the A button and go straight through it. That one you can let go of the A button. You'll go a little crazy, but it's fine. This one you can let go of the A button. And this one you want to try to get all those bananas and not crash into the pole like I just did, but even if you do, you still have such a marginal lead. Once again, just go straight through, keep your air, because somehow you're faster in the air than if you land, because you just lose the boost entirely when you land. Once again, just hold down the gas on that one, but then let it up on this one. You also drift in here to try to hit this dash pad. It's not always the most consistent strategy. I tended to miss it, which is part of the reason why this one took so long. And it really is funny how whenever you do things optimally, like, he cannot catch up with you at all. I've hit just about every dash pad on this run, and he cannot get up to me. So now we're into Dragon's Forest, Boulder Canyon. This one would be a first try victory, but I accidentally left the turbo A button on whenever I switched from the car level to the hovercraft level, and I couldn't really move, so I had to hit restart. But other than that, it would have been a first try victory. It was just a matter of leaving the turbo button on, which, if you've seen any of the videos, is how you make car levels easier, because you actually go faster rapidly pressing the A button than just holding it down for whatever reason. Anyway, you want to go through the right door on that. You could go through the left to line better up with the dash pad, but it's a shorter trip into the hallway. We missed the dash pad. He's barely catching up with us. It's fine. Hold right here. Hold right here. We're just going to go straight through and then keep holding right. Don't go around the log. Also, hitting the bell does nothing because the game cheats. Especially with ghost races, it doesn't do anything because the ghost is already on a set path, but whatever. Take that dash pad, of course. I lost all my speed, so TT is starting to catch up again, but it's okay. Ricochet off the wall, take that dash pad, ricochet off that wall, take this one. It's funny that driving by braille actually helps you in some of the hovercraft levels. I like to bounce off the wall specifically to hit the dash pad because, again, you can go between the dash pad and the wall. I went for the banana, but I completely missed it. It's largely unnecessary. We have a pretty good lead, and we're hitting the dash pad, so... Now, Greenwood Village here is one of the worst tracks in the entire game. I actually think I struggled with this one the most in the entire game. It is another one of incredibly sharp turns, having to hit all the dash pads. You lose all your speed on this specific hill. You need to drift through this forest section. It is just a mess. And you can see, even though we're doing everything right, TT is still on our tail. This part sucks. You have like a super 90-degree turn here, and then you have a dash pad you need to go into. And then you have to get into this one at a negative turn, like a U-turn. It just sucks. We missed that one, so of course TT is getting very close to us again. Drifting as much as we can. Missed that dash pad, and somehow TT is still not catching up with us. I have to imagine it's just because of all the drifting. I started to drift too early and almost crashed, but fortunately I didn't. It looks like TT actually takes some of the shortcut routes or some of the loops. I've never been good with this stage. If you guys saw the Dragon's Forest episode, this thing was absolutely infuriating. Alright, next up we have another easy first try victory in Windmill Plains. Go for those bananas. Try to hit the dash. If you can't, it doesn't matter too much. TT also isn't, so... And then I just try to hold the center line, take the middle banana right now, and then I'll take the right line, take the right banana, then get the middle one later. I'm diving low to get some more bananas, because again, that helps our acceleration. Take the upper middle one, and then over here we're going to dash. And I'm going to ignore going through the left one. I'm just going to keep going straight, go through this one, try to hit the dash, and then try to get this next dash. As you can see, we already have such a marginal lead over TT because of all these. You can also double dash right there, hit the zipper, and then hit the one underneath the windmill, but it's very difficult to pull off. It's not worth it if you're trying to do the TT challenge, because, again, you're trying to just beat TT. It's more about consistency. If you're trying to set an actual time trial race record, you could try to hit all three of those. Once again, we dive through that windmill to get to this dash pad as well. Now we're doing Haunted Woods, and I immediately start drifting. I'm not really aiming for the bananas, I'm just trying to hold the center line. This one took me a couple tries, but it wasn't too difficult. There are quite a bit of dash pads you need to hit, as per usual with the car levels. Drift in this hallway. Hold either the right or left, and then on this one you need to hold the right to get the dash pad. Or turn out left as I did. Missed that one. Pretty hard to see, which is why I keep missing them, like from the angle you're coming at them. But with how much I'm drifting, I'm able to keep ahead, so... That, and I believe TT is not letting off of the gas whenever he hits dash pads, so... Plus I have 14 bananas, which I'm sure is also contributing to this. Alright, Spacedust Alley, the first plane level that actually gave me problems, and it's because I was not taking a shortcut that I needed to. So I start by collecting some bananas and then hit these 2 dashers. We don't get too many zippers outside of the ones on the ground, so we gotta make use of the ones we get. I actually opted to get more bananas over here. Normally I just fly straight through that. And then over here, just hard right, and you can get underneath this instead. You get more bananas, you get a zipper, and you'll end up in the same cave anyway. And we're at max acceleration for the remainder of the race. Granted, TT is also still right behind us. So we really got to hold this center line. Honestly, this is actually pretty easy once you know the shortcut, even though we're barely ahead of TT right now. As long as you don't clip into stuff, you can do this route and not really have any issues. This one is easily the hardest of Future Funland. Darkmoon Caverns is... It's got a lot of sharp turns in it, and then you also need to be clever about the way you're using the dash pads. For example, that very first dash pad I hit, you have to hold down the A button, because if you let go of it, a lot of times you'll just hit the ceiling. You also have to aim for the pads like that one that are kind of just in a weird angle. You gotta watch out for guns shooting at you. It's a mess. You have 2 loop-de-loops, which is a bit of a saving grace here. And then you want to drift here to the right, and then just let go of it. You don't need to do the brake or anything fancy. And then more drifting there, don't brake. Once again, here, this is the one you want to just hold the gas, don't take your foot off of it. We missed that dash pad, but fortunately we have enough of a lead that it's not going to bite us in the behind right now. Hit a wall. TT is catching up to us. Really got to drift through these sections here. Then drift here to the right. And when you get out of this one, just drift to the left. And I should have hit the ceiling on that one, but I didn't somehow. We managed to get quite a bit of a lead back. Even clipping the wall, he's still not able to catch up. Alright, next we have Star City, which is surprisingly easy. There's just one dash pad you want to avoid at all costs, and it's this one right here. If you hit this dash pad, you're going to end up going off the track 9 times out of 10, so I just completely ignore it and just focus on drifting through that section. Now the real challenge is making sure your turns are nice and sharp in the streets here. So you're going to drift and then brake to finalize your turn at the very end. Like that. I missed that dash pad, I believe, every single time. If you can hit it, great. If not, it's not going to screw you over. We also hit max acceleration with all the bananas, so... Alright, so I ignore that dash pad, I just drift here. and then hold straight. So dash, drift, drift, brake, drift, drift, brake here, drift, brake here, drift, brake here. And this one's just a drift and then another drift. And that's pretty much all that is to be said about this map. Again, don't hit the dash pad, don't end up in this little pit down here, otherwise you just throw everything away. Oh yeah, I forgot I crashed like that. Just completely gave TT a bit of a catch-up chance, but didn't matter.
Well done. Now try another track.
Alright, finally we have Spaceport Alpha, which wasn't a first try victory, but was pretty dang close. I'm staying low to get all my bananas, but then we gotta go high to hit this dash pad. Stay mid to high, and then dive in. Dive out, and then hold the right button so you do a hard left turn. Hit that, get some more bananas. And then dash here. Try to keep it neutral so you don't hit the walls. And then hard right here. Now we're just focusing on collecting bananas for a little bit. Which I'm completely missing. And that's pretty much the route. The hardest part is dashing through that, making sure you don't clip the wall here like I just did. And then hard left after you come out of that pit. If you can pull that off, the rest of it's pretty easy. And it's much easier to pull that off in a plane than something like a car or a hovercraft. With such a marginal lead, I just kept to the line. And we have him saying that we can finally pick him now. So when we go back to the character select menu, we now have TT. And TT is broken, to say the least. If you do multiplayer, if you don't want your friends to hate you, I recommend you ban this character, not play as them. Because this is kind of insane. Like, this is how much TT could have styled on us whenever we were doing this challenge. I didn't even hit the frickin' dash. But I'm at max acceleration, and good lord, you can feel it. I highly recommend you get TT if you're going to do Adventure 2. I am going to go ahead and wait on Adventure 2 for the channel. But that is all for this one. Thank you for watching. Happy haunting.